Hello guys, how's everyone doing? Today I have a very special video for you guys. It's a review of Just Cause 4. This is an open world game that came out in December. I streamed the entire game's story from the start to finish a few weeks ago. The reason the Just Cause series is very important to me is because I started my channel out on Just Cause 3 years ago. This game is an open world game with a lot of things to do. I think if you enjoy GTA, you enjoy open world games, you will enjoy this game. Now I am warning everyone, I will be comparing this game a lot to the past Just Cause games. That is what I will be using as much of the basis for this review. You guys have asked for this review for so long. I'm sorry I was delayed on it. I had a lot of work. Now this game does some things better than Just Cause 3, but Just Cause 3 does some things better as well. I will explain. Let's start with the story. You don't need to play the other games, the other Just Cause games, to really understand the story here. There are some references to the past games, but nothing too major. Rico used to work for the Agency, a secret US government organization that topples dictators around the world. But the Agency is really corrupt, always having some kind of secret motive. Rico was their best agent, and in Just Cause 3 he retired and returned to his mother's home country of Medici. Just Cause 4 starts after Just Cause 3, where Rico liberated his childhood country of Medici from the brutal dictator General Sebastiano Di Ravello. Just Cause 3 had a much better intro, flying into Medici under AA fire. In Just Cause 4, Rico travels to Solis, a fictional South American country, after he is contacted by Mira, who informs him of his father's project in the area. Rico's father was a scientist who helped build Project Iapa, a superweapon that can control the weather and create blizzards, sandstorms, tornadoes, and lightning storms. This doesn't make much sense to Rico, as his father was against violence and war. Rico tries to find out the truth when he goes to Solis. Gameplay in Just Cause 4 focuses on causing chaos and using Rico's grappling hook and parachute, similar to other Just Cause games. Rico can tether many objects and vehicles, and this adds some very creative gameplay. Rico's wingsuit also returns. The game offers many land, sea, and air vehicles, but people mostly use Rico's wingsuit to travel around the map anyways, with his grappling hook. However though, the vehicles, if you choose to drive them on the ground, they have very poor handling. I really wish they would improve this, as in every Just Cause game it's the same problem. The vehicles, they have such bad handling. It shouldn't be that hard to improve the handling. They really gotta improve that in the next title. Now, one of the worst things about Just Cause 4 is that it has the worst villain in the entire series. By worst, I don't mean that he's an evil antagonist, a good villain. I mean he's a terrible, boring character. In every single Just Cause game, you liberated the country from a brutal, evil dictator. I understand the Just Cause games were never really big on the stories, but you can't have a Just Cause game without having a scary, oppressive dictator. The dictator in Just Cause 4 is called Oscar Espinosa, and we learn barely anything about him. The only thing that's known about him is that he took over after his father's death, and that he is related to a Spanish conquistador that invaded Solis 500 years ago. That's it. You can hear some things about his backstory on the radio, but there isn't much more than that. I wish we could find out what his background is, how he came to power, what his ideology is. Instead, by the time I beat the game, I still don't know who Oscar Espinosa fully is. The only thing we learn about him is he wants to build weather weapons, and that he funds the Black Hand, the most elite mercenary group in the world, who helps him control the island. No spoilers here, but he only makes 2 appearances in the entire story, once in the first level, and one in the final level. I couldn't believe this. I expected him to make much more appearances. Even though the story in Just Cause 3 was short, D Ravello makes several appearances in the story, and there, he was a much better villain. General D Ravello was scary, he was intimidating, he was brutal, and completely evil. While Espinosa is evil, I don't see the same traits in him that I see in D Ravello. Just take a look at these cutscenes of both General D Ravello and Oscar Espinosa. You can see who's a much better villain.
Learned Rodriguez's motivation for liberating Medici was personal.
You have briefed me on this man before, Commander Morales. We're preparing a test. Can we cut to the chase, por favor?
Of course, Senor Espinosa. Intelligence suggests that he is the son of Miguel Rodriguez.
My Miguel Rodriguez? Huh.
And he's here, in Solis, now.
That is the main villain in Just Cause 4. That is the most boring introduction to a villain that I have ever seen. Now take a look at this. This is General D Ravello in Just Cause 3. You can clearly see who's the better antagonist.
Years in the making. Our inability to protect Malaya was easily predicted. It will be a trifle to recapture, but... the loss of Vis Electra. That is a failure that must not go unpunished. Right. Rico Rodriguez has returned, born of the same fire that gave rise to my reign. Soon, the world will know the extent of my power. He offers an opportunity for demonstration. Perhaps some motivation. The town of Costa del Porto. Barnett! And when he comes to protect the insignificant, kill his friend. Every action must and will incur a terrible reaction. And then the embers of the revolution will crumble to ash as they always have throughout history. Use the tanks.
You guys saw it right there. D Ravello clearly beats Oscar Espinosa. He's a much better villain, 10 times better villain than what I saw in Oscar Espinosa. Despite Oscar Espinosa being such a weak, terrible villain, the final mission in Just Cause 4 is much better than the final mission in Just Cause 3, and the story is much better as well. Most of the missions, they're more enjoyable than in Just Cause 3. They're much more fun. Just the main villain in Just Cause 4, such a terrible, terrible villain. Weak character, weak story behind him, boring villain. Gabriela Morales is the other antagonist, and she is the commander of the Black Hand. She also makes very few appearances in the game. She appears in the first mission, the second mission, and the final mission. This makes no sense, as in the Just Cause 4 trailers, they hyped her up, calling her Rico's rival. She was brought up to be this big bad villain, but barely appears in the game. She appears more in the trailers than she does in the actual game. However though, unlike Espinosa, Gabriela is a good villain, despite appearing only a few times. I was very interested by her backstory. What caused her to join the Black Hand? You learn about her past in the story, and it's interesting. I just wish they expanded on it. She is also shown not to be pure evil like Espinosa. I wish she would have appeared more. She is a much better villain than Espinosa.
There's no way one man did all that you say. And when I find out what really happened, you will wish he had killed you.
Despite Espinosa making very few appearances, the Black Hand are the hardest enemy Rico has ever fought. They are the world's most elite mercenary force, and they make Merryweather in GTA look like a joke. These guys are the most elite troops, ranging from riot shield troops, snipers, RPG troops, grenade launcher troops, cloaking troops, even armored juggernauts. They also use a wide range of vehicles, ranging from attack helicopters to tanks to armored cars. They are the hardest enemy Rico has ever fought, and I welcome the change in the challenge. I like this new faction that they added. The Black Hand were in Just Cause 3 as well, but they didn't have this specific soldier type. This is a new, unique enemy that Rico has fought. I definitely welcome the change. Now, the world of Solis is beautiful. It definitely has the feel of a South American country, with so many different environments. There are deserts, rainforests, grasslands, and snowy mountains. There is also a brand new weather feature. In each region of the map, there is destructive weather. In the mountains, there are blizzards. In the deserts, there are sandstorms. In the grasslands, there are tornadoes. And in the rainforest, there are lightning storms. Each weather event is used by Espinosa as a weapon. In each region, you have to fight these weather weapons, and this is some of the best parts of the game. Despite Espinosa being such a weak villain, the story is mostly good. I did really enjoy it, and I enjoyed learning about Rico's father the most. The world is huge, being several times the size of GTA 5. However, despite the world being so big, it lacks detail in its bases. The other worst thing about Just Cause 4 is the fact that the game took out the base liberation and the city liberation. If you hadn't played Just Cause 4 and you played the other ones, you're gonna say, they did what? That's right, base liberations are gone, city liberations are gone. What were they thinking? Why did they take them out? Why? What did they replace them with? Base liberation missions instead. Each area in the map has a big base in it, and that base has a mission with it. In order to liberate the base, you have to complete the mission. Each base has its own purpose. It's used for something different. And you have a series of objectives to complete where the Black Hand tries to stop you. However, some of these missions, they can be really repetitive, such as defending a hacker as he goes to different computers across the base. Basically, you have to defend the hacker against waves of enemies. You can't reoppress areas like in Just Cause 3 after you finish the game either. You can restart the game with all your upgrades, but the reoppression feature is gone. Reoppression in Just Cause 3, when you complete the game, you can choose to reoppress a base, and then all the enemies spawn there. You can go in there and destroy it. But in Just Cause 4, the destruction is limited. I mean, take a look at this. Look at the destruction in Just Cause 4. Compare it to Just Cause 3. Just Cause 3 had much better destruction. What happened to base liberations in Just Cause 3? In Just Cause 3, we would go in them, destroy everything. When we destroyed every target in the base, it was liberated. Then after the base was liberated, we would hear government propaganda, giving an excuse for the base's destruction. It was really cool and detailed. Just Cause 4 lacks that. Just listen to the propaganda speaker in Just Cause 3. Listen to the radio, making an excuse for why this base got destroyed.
Grande is not so grande anymore. It's now just a wee bit smaller. A lot smaller, as in it's gone. As planned months ago. But enough about that. Did you know it was my mother's birthday today? If there were an insurgent force systematically destroying every military base, which of course there isn't, but maybe they would come and break me out of here. For the sake of my dear old mum. Viva Medici.
It also has no city liberations. In Just Cause 3, you feel the cities being oppressed by D Ravello. You have the propaganda speakers blasting his nonsense, big statues, propaganda posters, and movies being played, huge soldier patrols. But in Just Cause 4, the towns feel so empty. Sure, you'll find some Black Hand forces in them, but they just don't have that life that Just Cause 3 did. And when you liberate them in Just Cause 3, you see the people celebrating. Oscar Espinosa has no big statues dedicated to him, barely any posters. I haven't seen any propaganda speakers. How am I meant to liberate a country from an oppressive dictator if it's not being oppressed? D Ravello was a ruthless in Just Cause 3, and it made me want to liberate the map from him and bring his regime down. But here, it's just boring. It does add a mission to each region, but too many of them are the same, and it doesn't have that same spark that Just Cause 3 did, destroying bases.
Snake oil salesman. We must confront this ravaging pestilence, united as one people.
There appears to be a service outage.
We need help out here.
At your location.
And another one slips
As you guys can see, they took away city liberations. Base liberations aren't as good. You have the mission involving them. It's not like in Just Cause 3 where the destruction was much better and you could destroy most of the base. Just Cause 4, you have to follow a specific set of objectives to liberate the base, and after you liberate the base, you will use the new Army of Chaos feature. Rico now has an Army of Chaos which he can use to take land from the Black Hand in Espinosa. Unfortunately though, most of this goes to waste. Even though you now have an army to control, it feels like you are the army, not that you're commanding one. What do I mean by this? The Army of Chaos is just used to take land on the map. They very rarely make an appearance. I wish you could spawn them and have them assault bases with you, but it doesn't happen. Sometimes when you attack a base, you will have some of them show up, but I wish they let you command them more. The enemies also never try to retake a region, which makes it very easy to conquer the map. What's the point of taking areas from the Black Hand if they don't try to retake it? It's not really a war there. Now, despite my criticism, there are things that Just Cause 4 does better than Just Cause 3. Let's start with my favorite new addition, the Tongo Ruins. The Tongos are the ancient civilization that lived in Solis hundreds of years ago. Much of their architecture is based off the Mayans, Aztecs, and Incas. You can explore these ruins, which are scattered across the map, and they have some interesting puzzles. There is a big secret at the end of it. I don't want to spoil it, but these ruins were some of the best parts of Just Cause 4. I love that side activity that they added. It gives you something else to do than just destroying and killing everything in your way. Just Cause 3 did not really have any side activities besides all the challenges, so this is definitely a welcome change. The other new activity that we have is the action movie. These are directly linked to the stunts Rico does. The more stunts he does, the more points he gets, where he unlocks special missions where he helped film the movie. I do like that you get a different activity here, but I did not enjoy the movie as much as the tombs. The tombs, they were the best side activity. All of the extra challenges from Just Cause 3, unfortunately, are not here. They are much shorter, and there's less of them than there was in Just Cause 3. Where are the destruction challenges? I really enjoyed those. In Just Cause 4, we only have short wingsuit challenges, short bike, car, and speed challenges. While in Just Cause 3, you had destruction challenges, tether challenges, car challenges, boat challenges, helicopter challenges, plane challenges, wingsuit challenges, and car bomb challenges. In Just Cause 4, they really limited the challenges, and while many were hard in Just Cause 3, I did enjoy testing myself in them. We additionally have the new AR scan mode, where Rico can scan an area looking for weapons, pickups, as well as key objects. This is a great new addition and helps a lot, especially when looking for ammo. Guns also now have a secondary fire option, which they didn't in Just Cause 3. For instance, the assault rifle has a grenade launcher option, and the sniper rifle has an explosive lock-on bullet. There also is now a radio, which in the past Just Causes they never had. They have different songs, and this is definitely a step in the right direction, but they have also taken steps in the wrong direction. Lastly, I was disappointed by the lack of customization for Rico's abilities. In Just Cause 3, we had a huge skill tree involving wingsuit upgrades, weapon upgrades, tether upgrades, booster upgrades, vehicle upgrades, etc. All Just Cause 4 had is tether and boost upgrades. What happened to all these extra skill trees? They did less than the previous game. We do have balloons, which are a nice new feature, but it's much less than the previous game. You know, this game is strange. They've added some new things, but they've also... it seems like parts of the game were done with lazy design. And here at the end, we come to our pros and the cons. And the pros of Just Cause 4 is that it's a huge, beautiful world. It's definitely a better world than Medici. what we had in Just Cause 3. I love the different environments in this game, you know, the rainforest, the deserts, the grasslands, the snowy mountains. They're beautiful. I have no complaints about the map. I think the map is beautiful there, and it's a really big map. That's what Just Cause games have been known for really, really large maps, so they definitely exceeded here. And another pro is new unique enemies. You know, the Black Hand, they were in Just Cause 3, and they were in Just Cause 1, but here, they're much better equipped. New special enemy types, riot shield enemies, you know, elite snipers, RPG units, you know, juggernauts. There's just so many different ones, grenade launcher troops, so many different enemies, and it has a better story than Just Cause 3. The Just Cause games, they aren't really known for their stories. Their stories aren't really strong, but I did think this was a better story than Just Cause 3. The villain here was really weak and boring, but the story itself, I did enjoy the majority of the story, and I did enjoy bringing those weather weapons down. I thought a lot of the missions were fun. The tornado mission, you know, the lightning storm mission, you know, the blizzard mission, a lot of them can be really fun. The train mission, there's so many missions in this game that are just really fun. The ancient ruins, I absolutely love those. I love the Tongo Ruins. I love the puzzles there. They did exceed there. That was definitely a step in the right direction, adding a different activity to the game. This is what Just Cause needed. It needed extra activities besides all the killing and the destruction, and they really did it good with those ruins. I really enjoyed the puzzles there. The weather events, as we talked about earlier, you know, all the different weather that we have, the tornadoes, the lightning storms, the blizzards, the sandstorms, definitely added variety to the game. A new thing that was not in previous Just Cause games. We have the new AR scan mode, which identifies where weapons are, identifies specific vehicles, and specific targets. Makes finding things a lot easier, finding special guns. Definitely a welcome change. We have secondary fire on weapons, so now a lot of weapons have secondary fire, like the assault rifle, for instance, has a grenade launcher attachment. New vehicle radio. Vehicles now have radio. This was not in previous Just Cause games. Definitely a good addition. Definitely like the soundtrack there. Didn't really get the chance to listen to much of the radio, but I do appreciate that it's there. They definitely added that extra level of detail. Now the cons are weak, boring villain. The worst villain in the entire Just Cause series definitely goes to Oscar Espinosa. He's so boring. You know, I couldn't take him seriously. Just appears in 2 cutscenes. Not intimidating. D Ravello is a much better villain than him. Another con is it's a short story. Even though most of the missions are fun and the story is better than what we had in Just Cause 3, it's really short. If you just rush through those bases, because a lot of those bases you do need to take over for the story, so if you just rush through those bases, you do that single mission, you take over the base, it's gonna not take you that long. In Just Cause 3, you know, the game could take you really long, depending on if you chose to liberate the map. If you chose to liberate the map, you chose to liberate every base before going after D Ravello at the end, that would take you some time. But here, pretty short story. If you just rush through the base, you could probably beat it in a day. Now, the cons are no base city liberation. This is the worst thing in Just Cause 4. This is the worst thing because they took the biggest core element of Just Cause 3 and just really threw it out the window. How can you have a Just Cause game without base liberations? Why are there no city liberations? I love doing those in Just Cause 3, but no base liberations? At least let us have base liberations. Those missions, some of them are fun, yeah, but the hacker missions, the missions where you have to defend like a relay station, no, it's not fun. And no reoppression. So when you take over, when you beat the game, you know, when you beat the game, you get rid of Espinosa, you get rid of the Black Hand, you can't reoppress those areas. So the Black Hand are never going to come back in those bases. You can't go in those bases whenever you want and reoppress them. You can start the game over again, you know, with the same upgrades that you have, but you don't have that reoppression feature that you had in Just Cause 3. I really like that reoppression feature in Just Cause 3. Lack of challenges. The challenges, they're so short, and when you take a look at them, and you take a look at just what you have to do, like jump through like three rings, that's it. You guys saw the comparison to like Just Cause 3's wingsuit challenges. Completely different. Challenges in Just Cause 4, they feel lazy. Just Cause 3, the challenges were much better, and they were much more detailed, and there were so many different types. Here, just have a few wingsuit courses, you have some speed challenges, not much more than that. And like I said earlier, the missions are really repetitive, especially with the bases, and the Army of Chaos, its opportunity was wasted. You know, you just basically send the Army of Chaos and you just take over parts of the map. They don't really assault bases with you. They don't really help you out that much. Sometimes they'll spawn in and back you up, but it's not much more than that. I wish you had more of a commanding role. And now, what is my final verdict on this game going to be? What is my score going to be on this game? I hate to say it, but I'm going to give this game a 7 out of 10. I'm not going to say that it's terrible, but I'm not going to say that it's amazing either. If you are a Just Cause fan, I do recommend you pick this game up, because if you are a Just Cause fan, I think you are going to enjoy it. You're not going to enjoy it as much as Just Cause 3, in my opinion, but I still think you're going to enjoy it. I did enjoy it, though. I did enjoy playing through the story. I think the story was the part that really kept me going. You know, the bases, they weren't fun, but I did want to keep playing the story because I did want to bring down those weather weapons. So, I mean, I had a lot of fun with this game, but it just doesn't live up to what Just Cause 3 did, and I hope they really improve this in the DLCs, because they're supposed to add DLCs to this game. So, when they add those DLCs, I hope they bring the base liberations back if they add more parts to the map, or if they add new islands, or whatever they have planned for the new DLCs. I just hope they bring back the base liberations, bring that city liberations, and please, in the next Just Cause game, have a good villain, have a scary dictator. You can't have a Just Cause game with such a boring, weak villain. It was really terrible. Gabriela was a great villain. I had no complaints about her, but Espinosa, he was just terrible. So let me know down below, what did you guys think of my review? And if you've played this game, if you've played Just Cause 4, let me know what you think of the game. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comments. I'll try to reply to as many people as I can. Overall, if you like open world games, if you like GTA, I suggest give this game a try. You know, I think you will enjoy it. You don't really need to play the earlier Just Cause games. And hey, if you've never played a Just Cause game before, try playing Just Cause 3. It shouldn't be that much money. It came out 3 years ago. Should be pretty cheap right now. You should be able to pick it up. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, drop a like. If you're new to my channel and enjoy my content, subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone.